Good morning, good morning, good morning. I know I'm late. I'm sure everybody did their reaction videos already. But shit, I was tired last night, man. We was at the draft party. We were around fans. We were in the hot sun. It was a lot going on yesterday, but all in all, it was a good evening. Orlando shocked the world, y'all. I think they shocked the NBA world. Uh, Everybody had it, Jabari. Everybody had Jabari Smith going one. Everybody. I mean, then all of a sudden, that same yesterday, Vegas started, oh, Paolo all of a sudden is going number one. So that was kind of weird, but Woj at that point in time held steady. He's like, no, the consensus still Jabari to Orlando, Chet to OKC, Paolo to Houston, you know. And then about an hour before the draft, he's like, oh, Paolo has all of a sudden went number one. And I can tell y'all now, the vibes at the Rockets draft party was bad. It was bad because I think a lot of the fan base, no matter what the fan base wanted, no matter if you were a Rockets fan that wanted Chet, no matter if you were a Rockets fan that wanted Jabari, I was a Rockets fan that originally wanted Jabari Smith. That was the pick that I wanted when I found out we were drafting number 3. And I was so sure Jabari was going number 1 and Chet was going 2 that I was doing all of my research on Paolo. I did a little bit of research on Ivy, but I was doing all of my research on Paolo, and I was like, oh, this is the guy. Like, okay, I'm trying to see how he fits with Kevin Porter Jr. I'm trying to see how he fits with Jalen Green. I'm trying to see, I'm trying to envision what Silas will have him doing in the front court with Sengun. So this whole time I'm just studying him. I'm studying his talent. I'm looking at his weaknesses. I'm looking at his strengths. I'm looking at interviews, and then yesterday happens, and I was like, wow. So after Paolo's off the board, my whole thing as a Rockets fan was I didn't want Chet. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that his size and the weight and his play style will like hold up. Maybe it will. Maybe I'll end up looking silly, but I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. And so I looked at and so when Jabari came to Houston, I was happy. It was a lot of people unhappy. It was a lot of people unhappy. I think it was probably 200 Rockets fans I was around yesterday. It was way more than that there. But, the place that we were at, it was separated by like floors. So we were on the roof, and there was probably like 200 Rockets fans up there. And it was crazy because I think 10 were happy around on the roof that we were at about the pick for Jabari Smith. It was crazy because I was like, Jabari's good. Like, this is the pick that I wanted. This is the guy that I wanted because I envision Jabari the way that I look at his skill set, the way that I look at his game. I envision Jabari being the guy. He doesn't need the ball to be effective. That was the same thing I said last year about Evan Mobley. Now, of course, that was before I knew that the Rockets were planning on sitting John Wall for the season. But even when I knew that, I still was like, Evan Mobley is one of those guys where he doesn't need the ball to be effective and he can impact the floor on both sides of the ball. So I thought that player was valuable to have in the front court. But we got it this year with Jabari. I think to a lesser degree defensively than Evan Mobley, but I think he's better offensively, especially like shooting wise. And yeah, man. So I was really, really ecstatic about the pick. But I will say there was some disappointment in seeing Paolo go number 1 because I had did so much of my due diligence on him. And I had kind of tricked my brain into, embracing Paolo. And when he went number 1, I was like, oh, damn. You know what I'm saying? So even with Jabari, and I was elated to have Jabari Smith, even though that happened, and that was the original guy I wanted, there was still some disappointment. There was still a twinge, just a twinge of disappointment in there. But all in all, man, it was a good draft. I'm not an NCAA guy. I don't watch college ball. Not gonna lie to y'all, don't want to come off as a liar. But I have been saying for a month and a half that the Rockets fans have been wanting Tari Eason for like a month and a half. Out of nowhere, I just kept seeing him, this guy from LSU. I'm like, who is this guy? So much so, the fan base wanted him so much so that I was like, it's no way he's going to be there at 17. Rockets doing too much promotion for him. He's probably going to go 11 through 16. You know what I'm saying? Maybe number 16. And he fell to the Rockets. So 6'8", wing, can defend. That's something that the Rockets need. They need somebody that can potentially slide into that 3 spot, because that 3 spot on this roster is open. That's an open spot. You know what I'm saying? It's for Jae'Sean Tate, it's for Eric Gordon, or it's for Tari Eason. Maybe even Josh Christopher. Who knows? But I just think that, I don't really have much to say on that. Also, I know the Rockets drafted Ty Washington out of Kentucky. Again, don't really know much. I don't watch college basketball, so I kind of wanted to stick to just Jabari, man. Like, just the top 3. That was a very, very wild ride last night. It was a wild ride. And I'm just, like I said, the Rockets got the guy I wanted. Maybe it wasn't the plan. Maybe they originally thought they were getting Paolo. They were going into the draft, knowing that they were getting Paolo. And it's funny seeing their reactions. Paolo looked pissed. Jabari looked pissed. The only one in the top 3 that looked happy to go in the top 3 was Chet. Chet went to the team that he thought he was going to the team that probably told him that they were taking him if he was there. So it was just funny how, and then Orlando, I don't understand Orlando's thinking. Why not work out Paolo? Why do all this due diligence on Jabari only to draft Paolo number 1? Were you trying to trick somebody? You were drafting number 1. You were drafting number 1. Houston was no threat. Houston was no threat. If you thought Paolo was this guy all along and you found out that Houston was doing all this due diligence on Paolo, why not just come out 2 weeks, a week before the draft? Hey, we're drafting Paolo, and then maybe Houston trades up. Like, I don't understand what kind of mind game they were playing on the NBA. Whatever. Maybe they was just trolling. Maybe they just trolls, you know what I'm saying? But, I mean, that just was kind of weird to me. But all in all, man, it was a good night. Like I said, Jabari is a Houston Rocket. We're going to get some defensive intangibles on this side of the floor. And that's it. I'm out, man. Thank y'all for watching. Please like and subscribe.